Hello, everyone, and welcome back to week 3. Last week, we laid down a hard truth about structural and failures in business. Tonight, we're talking the next logical step and diving into the behavior unlearning process. We can talk about software strategies, cloud data platforms, and automated tools all day long. But if your leadership team is still bringing a legacy siloed mindset to a modern operation, your technology investments are going to stall out every single time. Tonight is about 3 clear objectives. We're going to break the exact behavior patterns that stall enterprise scaling, overcome the psychological friction that happens when a digital transformation shifts, and establish a top down culture of truly synchronized execution. Let's look at what happens when human behavior collides with enterprise tech. If you look at the screen right now, you see the real roadblock: muscle memory trap. Here is what happens in almost every major organization. A company spends millions of dollars on beautiful, open, unified software platforms, but because leadership leaves the migration unchecked, the team's behavioral muscle memory defaults right back to what's comfortable. They will literally manually recreate their old software silos right inside the brand new platform. They start spinning up localized workarounds, keeping offline tracker spreadsheets, and hiding data in a team specific folders. The behavior drag isn't just an inconvenience, it acts as a massive hidden tax on your technology ROI. The image you're looking at is the perfect depiction of what we're talking about. You have this ultra clean, hyper modern, unified interface. Everything is connected by design, and yet human hands are aggressively coming into the frame to build rigid cardboard walls and heavy concrete blocks around individual apps to force them back into isolated boxes. It looks ridiculous when you see it drawn out like this, but I guarantee you this is happening in your departments right now. People are terrified of transparency, so they build walls to protect their localized manual habits. If you don't address the behavior, your people will turn your most advanced integrated infrastructure right back into a fractured patchwork of disconnected tools. In this next image, this is how we visualize the ultimate goal. You have an executive team sitting at the table, completely aligned, looking at clear real time data screens that reflect a single source of truth. Notice that the data isn't being manually manipulated or passed around on printouts under the table. The infrastructure handles the pipeline so the human capital in this room can focus exclusively on high level strategy, execution, and long term scaling. But to get your boardroom to look like this, you have to understand the operational damage that happens when you allow those invisible concrete walls to stand. This brings us directly into the fracture risk cascade. If you want to know why so many digital transformations hit a brick wall, this chart lays it out. Most leaders look at operational friction and try to solve it from the top down with better behavior or motivation speeches. But business processes collapse from the bottom up. Look at tier one, fractured, fractured technical and fracture, excuse me. When you allow manual entry errors, legacy system incapability, and an absolute lack of automated validation pipelines to live at the gate, your foundational data degrades instantly. That baseline corrupts forces into your tier two, siloed operations management. Now your interlocking workflows break because the tools aren't talking. Your operations managers are forced to manually patch disconnected systems together. They spend 40 hours a week sitting in cross functional sync meetings just trying to resolve communication failures. And where does that land? In tier three, compromised executive leadership. Those corrupted operational layers roll straight up to the C suite. Your dashboards are feeding you inaccurate, stale metrics. You are forced to make massive quarterly strategic decisions from a complete leadership blind spot. You cannot fix a toxic baseline data layer with fancy boardroom graphics. To break the cascade, every leader needs to run an honest audit of their communication alignment baseline. Right now, your company is living in one of these three layers. Are you in the red layer, fractured status? This is where your information is manually manipulated, your process drag and noise are through the roof, and your teams are buried under constant email and text duplication. Or you're in the yellow layer, siloed tools. You have great independent software utilities, but your sync calls are completely out of alignment and your customer experience failures are entirely unrouted to your development core. Your goals over the next 6 weeks is to move your entire operation into the blue layer, synchronized mechanics. This is where your automated feedback loops are baked directly into the system and fracture. Real-time data pipelines run automatically and institutional intelligence streams straight to leadership without a single meeting required. When you commit to the blue layer, you achieve true strategic synergy. You build a communication infrastructure that bridges the gaps between your customer experience, your development, security and operations, and your automated AI work streams. This is the exact operational framework we dive into within the pages of my book, Strategic Synergy, and also Beyond Business as Usual. It moves your leadership away from individual departmental firefights and integrates your teams into a highly compliant, predictive ecosystem. So, what does it look like in practice? It looks like a clean three-phase cross-functional pipeline. Phase one, ingestion. We establish a strict automated data entry gate that completely eliminates manual human data duplication right at the perimeter. Phase two, processing. Your documented workflows are systemized directly into the technical foundation, so human error is structurally impossible. Phase three, output. Clean, validated operational data streams instantly to customer experience, development, security operations, and operations simultaneously. No silos, no manual handoffs, no behavior delays. As we close out week three, I want to leave you with one final mandate. Managing the strategic cost of broken technical layers is an executive responsibility, not an IT department problem. If you want your company to scale sustainably in the digital era, you have to unlearn the habit of letting department heads build concrete walls around their data. You have to claim executive command over the entire framework. If you're ready to stop managing symptoms and start building a synchronized enterprise engine, let's get your team aligned. Scan the reference codes or reach out to us directly to access the complete operational playbooks. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I will see you next week, the same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.